Good morning and welcome to day two, not four. Good morning. Okay, we have a lot to discuss today. A lot of really good stuff. It's going to be a longer video. They're not all going to be this long, but this first week we're really digging in deep and getting into the reasons why you're here and resources for you. So as we move through the month, it's a little bit lighter on the topics. And remember, these videos are going to be saved and uploaded to a YouTube channel. As soon as that gets going, I will let all of you guys know. But we are talking about some really, really important stuff today. Again, I can't stress enough, it's not just about being vegan. It's not about a title. It's about living a sustainable and healthy lifestyle. And all those trends out there, Whole30, keto, paleo, even vegan, when it's not done right, is not sustainable. So when we're thinking about our health and our wellness for ourselves and our family, we're thinking about what does sustainability mean in that sense. And it's food. Where does your food come from? Where does your dollar go? What is your dollar supporting when you're making that purchase at the store or at the restaurant? Because that dollar keeps those systems and those industries going, just like Big Pharma, which we'll talk about later. But that affects not only your health, but the health of the planet. And that's huge. We need to understand how important that is. And so today we're talking about a lot of different things. I have my notes here. We're going to talk about some resources for you. We're going to talk about the quality of your water. We're going to talk about meat, dairy, seafood, eggs, and where do you get your nutrients? What do those foods do to your body? We're going to talk about deficiencies, and we're going to talk about some recipes, some good water recipes. So I want to start with you about the way my day started, because this is real. I am not perfect, and many people from the outside tend to think that I have it all together. But healing is a never-ending journey. It doesn't stop. Life just gets better when we improve what we put in and on our bodies. But we're always going through the motions, and what eating well does for us is it supports us to the point where we can make better decisions down the road. So our body is strong enough to face things like environmental toxins and stress and all the things. Now, stress gets us, right? Even if we don't feel that like super stress from something happening, when we're go, our adrenaline is going, and that affects our adrenal glands in our body, and that affects our B12, and that affects all the things. So when they say stress makes you sick, it's a real thing, right? Sometimes we're just going and we don't stop, and we just... Okay, are you there? Someone called me. I did not put the do not disturb on my phone. Anyway, okay, and so my day, I went to bed before 10 o'clock. I was sleeping. I did not get out of bed until 8 because I woke up, I don't know, maybe around like 6 o'clock with a really, 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 really bad headache. And I did yesterday too. And I will tell you, I know that it is hormone related. So that's just a part of being a woman. And it was hard. It felt like a struggle to get up. And so I stayed in bed because I didn't have to get up for anything specific. But it really threw me off big time. And so the things that I'm doing for myself, I have not had any food yet. It's 11 o'clock in Michigan right now. So I'm getting a little bit hungry. I ate dinner last night at 5:30 and haven't had anything since. So this is a really good intermittent fasting. I had more coffee than water. So I am human, yes. This is my 32 ounce jar of lemon water. I've already had about 20 ounces. So it's here with me. I drink out of a stainless steel straw. I love glass straws, but I break all of them. This is silicone. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's just one of the straws I have around. And so they're always better than plastic. But I wanted to share with you a couple of things that I'm doing for myself this morning to help me kind of wake back up and get on track and do the things I need to do. I didn't have any fresh lemons, so I was talking about this yesterday. This is a brand I get. It's called Italian Volcano. This is 100% organic lemon juice. It's cold pressed. There are about 40 lemons in this bottle. If you get this at a health food store, grocery store, it's going to be about $8, which is amazing because it costs now about $1 per fresh organic lemon. I always like the fresh stuff, but this is nice to have. If you go to Costco, you get a 2-pack for $8, so you get 80 lemons for $8. It's nuts. Depends where you are, but this is what's in my water this morning. I am going to take this shot with you. This is when my husband hands this to me every morning, and he has one, and we cheers, and we say, shot, 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 because this is what it's like in your 30s. We do not have liquor shots anymore. But this is, if you're from, well, actually, Drought is outside of Michigan now. Drought is an incredible cold pressed juice company. 4 amazing sisters started this company in Plymouth, Michigan, and they are all over the place now. But this is their immunity potion. It's one of my favorites. It is made with apple, lemon, ginger, turmeric, cayenne, and oil of oregano. These are incredible, incredible ingredients. So you can go to their little shops and get this for $6 in a glass jar and just take it. Or they now have these immunity packs where you get, I think, 50 servings. But this doesn't last us very long. It's 2 wine bottles worth, basically. They have that in the little corner. So, cheers. Cheers. Right? Yes, so good. So I actually like to drink this when I first wake up, but I didn't do that today, so I thought I would do it with you. Hi, Rocco. My little doggy's here. Last thing, I was feeling a little anxious today because of the way I woke up, right? I didn't get to wake up on my terms. I felt bad, and so I have a lot of essential oils. I used to use them for a lot of things, but now I just they're part of my medicine cabinet, which in week 3 for home and body care, we're going to go over a lot of amazing things to keep in your medicine cabinet and what that can look like instead of having a bunch of over-the-counter drugs to a holistic way. And so this is my doTERRA Peace and Balancing, or my 2 favorite calming herbs. I literally will just keep them around me if I'm feeling a little anxious or stressed, and that's it. Feels good. And you can put a little bit on your wrist. That's it. It's just nice. It's calming. And so that was my day today. A little funny. Also, the first giveaway arrived in the mail today, which is happening on Saturday. To be included in these giveaways, you need to be participating in the group. That's all there is to it. So if you know True Desserts, my dessert business, you know that I make raw vegan desserts, and the flavors and the colors come from superfoods, superfood powders, or fruits, like fresh or organic fruits. And so this brand, Suncor Foods, they are not sponsoring me. It'd be really cool if they were, but they're definitely not. I just thought this would be really cool to share with you guys. Suncor Foods is one of my favorite brands. They're in the US. Another brand I really like is Unicorn Superfoods. The quality is incredible. They make amazing products. Like, I make amazing products with their amazing product. Depending on the quality is what you get, you know. But they're an Australian company, and sometimes it just takes way too long to get in the mail. So Suncor Superfoods is a great little brand. Yeah. And so I'm going to split this up into a couple of different giveaways. But this is so exciting. I have cacao nibs. Everything's organic and raw. Super Snack Rose Apple Chips. You guys, I might eat these. I don't know if I want to give them to you. Did I get 2? I did not get 2. These are amazing. The red dragon fruit chips. This is just dehydrated dragon fruit. Oh my God, they are so good. If you have kids, this is where it's at. These are so good. I have rose blossoms. Rose blossoms. These are amazing. I put these on my little cupcakes. They're beautiful. They are edible. But you can put them on like a farmer's board platter or a dessert or whatever when you're having company. They're really nice. Fun to share with the kids too. Show them that nature can be good for you to actually consume. This is one of my favorites. It's called Emerald Pandan Leaf. This is a green color. It doesn't really have much flavor. It's just going to change the color of your smoothie bowl, your baked goods. You can actually bake with this stuff. I don't do that. I like raw foods because it's more, I think it's beautiful. I think the colors are just beautiful. But the nutrients in here, let's see, what very specifically... We'll have to look this. Oh, pandan leaves offer many healing properties that can alleviate skin problems, relieve arthritis, headaches, oral discomfort, and fevers. Listen, all superfoods and superfood powders are going to be so micronutrient dense for your body. They're going to help prevent and nourish the body from all sorts of symptoms and diseases. But they like to share very specifically what certain superfoods have been shown to do, and so they'll be on the packages. That's what this one says. Blue butterfly pea powder. This is a very popular one. If you follow raw foods online, you'll see a lot of people use this one. You get like a blue purple color. It's really pretty. Let's see. Hair growth, eyesight improvement, and skin health. Sapphire wolfberry. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Such a pretty color. Nourishing the kidneys, protecting the liver, boosting immunity, lowering cholesterol levels, enhancing vision. Good stuff. And my favorite, one of my favorites, pink pitaya dragon fruit superfood powder. Now this is the dragon fruit superfood snacks, just in powder form. This is amazing. This is what I do all my like super vibrant pink stuff with. If you don't know what True Desserts is, you can find me on Instagram. That's probably the best way to just look at the photos. And anytime you see colors, this is where this stuff comes from. It's really, really cool. It's so pretty. I love to use these powders for weddings and special events because you can coordinate their theme or, the time of the year with the color. And that's so much fun. But this is vitamin C, vitamin B, protein, fiber, essential fatty acids. Good stuff, you guys. So this is the first giveaway that's going to be split up into a few different giveaways, basically. But it's the first one that came in the mail. Yeah. And so the other giveaways, I'll give you a little spoiler alert. We have this book here. This one's my copy, but you'll have a fresh, brand new copy, Life Changing Foods. This is like the first book I recommend for anyone in the world for anything to just understand food. It is so important. This is your like Bible, your encyclopedia, your dictionary for food. The other one is the Oh She Glows Vegan Cookbook, one of the best cookbooks out there. If you go to Barnes & Noble and you look in the vegan section, you're like, I don't know what to choose. What's good? What's actually healthy for me? I love that book because it shares so many amazing recipes for families and kids and really hearty comfort foods. So if you're stressing about your family being supportive or you just want to make a meal for people and it's just not working out, one of the best books ever for recipes. And then one of the other giveaways is some True Desserts. So anyway, let's get into it. This morning I posted a welcome thread that I started with a photo of myself, my husband, and our kitty cat and our Yorkie, and just shared a little bit about my story. I'm hoping that you all catch on and add on to that thread. I would love to learn more about you, and I want you to know that we're here to share our stories. We're not here to keep them to ourselves and to live in that alone. We're here to share it because there's someone else out there who resonates with what is going on in your life, and that can really help. And I learned that through firsthand experience. My whole journey started because I was way too alone, and I was just like, I'm gonna start sharing this stuff on Facebook because man, if it worked for me, it has to work for other people. And by doing it in a way where you're just sharing, that can be really positive for other people. It's not about telling people what to do. It's just about sharing what has worked for you and what, you feel might be beneficial for other people. So sharing your story is really, really awesome. And I really encourage you to do that. So I hope you get on there and you share. Okay, so I want to share with you some resources that are in your 6-week diet and lifestyle guide. Page 10 and 11, there's going to be some books and some URLs for some places to visit. just really things that were very helpful for me. I can't tell you how many books I went through in the first couple of years and documentaries and websites. And I really like the simplicity of some of the ones that I listed in there. Now, I made this guide a while back, so there's definitely more that has come out. And please feel free to share those resources with us if you guys have any. Page 57. This is one of my favorite resources ever. It's called The Story of Stuff. If you go to thestoryofstuff.org, this is an organization back in 2013. This was the first thing that caught my attention for anything physical, environmental. They do these cute little animated videos to really just get you thinking. This was the first thing that had me go home and say to my husband, we have to get rid of all the chemicals in our house. Did you know that what we wash our floors with goes into Rocco's paw pads when he walks on it, and that can make him sick? Did you know that? Because I didn't know that. He's like, well, what do we do? I said, I don't know, but we figure it out. And that's how it started for me. There's a great video on the plastic water bottles on the factory farms. There's a great video on the beauty industry. It's just a great resource, and really wanted to just share with your friends and family too. So thestoryofstuff.org, that's page 57, page 48 through 55. If you haven't looked at the journal, please do go to page 48 and 55 through 55. I kind of broke it down for you guys how you can start this transition and not feel so overwhelmed. So week 1 gives you things to kind of get started on. Week 2, week 3, and you know, take it for what it's worth for you and what you feel might work for you, right? Okay, page 60. I hope you go to page 60 and you read it. It's just a little something that I created for you where you can fill in the blanks. And yeah, you'll see. Just go to page 60. Quality of water, our first topic. Pages 44 and 45. I want to talk to you about this. I kind of meant to bring it up yesterday, but I have learned since making this guide, and I really, really wanted to go back in and edit it before putting it on my website, but technology is not my friend, and I'm not able to go back into this document because of something I did. And so it's not that everything I said in there isn't something I believe in, but there are a couple of things that I have learned over the years since drinking alkaline water and working on creating an alkaline environment in my body. And one of those things is the brands and the types of waters and what to look for. So first, I want to talk about tap water. It's not okay to drink tap water. It doesn't matter if your city says your water is safe. It's not okay to drink tap water for these reasons. Feces is in the tap water. Prescription medications that people dump down their toilets, heavy metals like lead, mercury, aluminum, all of that stuff is in the tap water, and it's certain levels. So whatever is going to be safe is basically like by guidelines, and you don't want to follow that because you don't want any of that stuff going into your body, right? That's not good. And we're definitely going to dive into that in Autoimmune Week next week. But tap water is not okay for you. It's not okay for your animals. That's the stuff that can really harm the body. So I can't stress it enough. Don't drink tap water straight from the tap. Now, if you're up north and there's well water, and you're like drinking right from a spring, maybe that's different. But don't do that. Don't do that when you're living in a heavily populated area. Okay, so spring water, filtered water, alkaline water. How do we know what's what? Okay, this is where, if you look in the guide and I talk about some of my favorite brands, I'm going to erase some of those brands, such as the Alkaline 88. There are some brands that alkaline has become kind of an industry of its own. So what they're doing is they're taking tap water, they're putting it in plastic bottles, and then they're adding all of the minerals in it. It's kind of like grains. They'll strip a grain, they'll strip brown rice, which is in its natural state, and they'll strip it to be white because people want white rice, right? Just like toilet paper. Toilet paper is not naturally white. They bleach it. They strip it from nature. Okay, and that's what's happening with the water. They're basically adding to it. So they'll take these things like the brown rice, they'll make it white, and then they'll add nutrients that they took away just to give it that color. That's dumb. It's dumb. You need to just have the source straight from nature. So we want to actually avoid some of those waters that say alkaline level 9.5 and 10, because look at the ingredient list. You don't want it to be all these added minerals and nutrients, because you're still drinking that tap water, and it's usually in a plastic bottle, which comes with contaminants. So we want to look for spring filtered water that is naturally alkaline with these nutrients. There is a really good brand. I'm going to go and get it from the store and show you kind of what to look for, because not all waters are created equal. Not all spring waters are good. It's a tough subject. It really is. So my recommendation to you, when you are out and you need a water because you forgot something, look for something that has a pH level between like 7.5 and 8, and that says spring water or naturally alkaline, and there's no added ingredient list, okay? When you're home, the best quality filters that are going to eliminate things like heavy metals, which is the most important thing, is going to be, there are really two brands that I like, and you can get them online: ProPure USA and Berkeley. And that's really it. Filters like Brita, things from Target, the cheaper ones that we can afford, they aren't the greatest, but if you're drinking tap water now, switching to a Brita is something. So just get started. Putting stuff like lemon in your water. There's a recipe on page, that's the recipe. The recipe of the day is an infused water. And so that's on page 124. When you put stuff like herbs, fresh herbs and fruit into your water, it's going to create an alkaline system for you. And so ginger, berries, mint, rosemary, anything that's your favorite, put it in your water, and it's going to create more of an alkaline water for you and be good for your body. Hi, buddy. Now my cat's in here. Okay, so that is water. Animal products. Let's dive in. Let me have some water, some good lemon water before this. Okay, one of these days they're going to walk into the video and you will just love them. They're so sweet. All right, animal products in depth. This is why you're here, right? So we're looking at pages 42 and 43, and then pages 17 and 18 for the nutrients. We're going to start with pages 42 and 43 basically. So the health of the animal is the health of your body. I'm going to repeat that. The health of the animal that you consume is the health of your body. Okay? Let's break this down a little bit more. The conditions of the farms. Whether this is a factory farm where most of the animals don't see daylight, don't touch nature, they are insanely tortured in very inhumane ways. It doesn't make sense what they go through. A lot of them are harmed in ways to preserve, for example, to make leather, animals are skinned while alive because that gives them a nicer leather product in the end. They don't kill the animal first. They skin them alive. Imagine how bad that would feel. And so the same thing goes in the factory farm where the animals are being processed. They are tortured in ways that are kind of like a slow, terrible death. Pigs go in gas chambers to where they basically like rot from the inside out, like over a slow period of time. They get pushed through these weird machines that their bodies can't actually fit through to break down their bones first. Like while there's things that happen in factory farms that are disturbing. And so the condition of these farms are very dirty, and that is the animal is very dirty now. He's harmed, he's ill. And then when you're on an organic farm, these cows are grazing, grass-fed, 100% organic, right? But what are they eating still? We still don't know the quality of the soil. We don't know if they're eating soy. Do you have an intolerance or an allergy to soy? There was a study that came out where cows were being fed Skittles. What the conditions of their living space goes into your body, first and foremost, okay? Second, we are not living in the caveman days. So for all the paleo people out there, this is where I'm going to burst your bubble. We are not in the caveman days. We do not need to hunt an animal to survive. We are living with every single food at our fingertips, delivery. We don't even have to go to the store anymore. We have foods that are in the stores that are not in season year round. That's not normal. And so, my cat, we have a distraction. Let's lighten it up. This is Navi. Say hi. Yeah, okay. There you go. And so, let me get back on track here. Look at this. These animals. They make me lose my track. Okay, so the health of the animal. We are not living in caveman days. Yes. So we don't need these things. We don't need it. This is all marketing. And the documentary, What the Health, is a really, really good resource for explaining the marketing behind this, as well as the documentary Game Changers. It's all for money for other people. And so we're going to break down those nutrients in a little bit, but it doesn't matter if this is an organically raised cow or a factory farm raised cow. If this cow is sick for some reason, if this cow has cancer, because animals get cancer too, right? Then that cancer goes into your body. So how many people would actually continue to eat meat if you challenge them to go out and hunt it for themselves, aside from hunters, because they really enjoy to do that? So listen, your factory farmed animals, they get injected with antibiotics. So it depends where you are in the spectrum of antibiotics, but antibiotics set your immune system back about 16 to 24 months. So like, say you've done all this work to get healthy, for each antibiotic that is injected into your body, your immune system drops. You become resistant towards that antibiotic. So most of the time, if you go to the doctor and you have a sore throat or whatever, they're like, here, let me give you this antibiotic, but you didn't really actually need it to save your life. Your body won't respond to it properly anymore. And so you become antibiotic resistant, and it just keeps setting you back. And you're gonna keep getting the flu. You're gonna keep getting the sinus infection. Same thing with the flu vaccine. We get it to prevent it, but if we don't need it, you're gonna get the flu anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't save you from not getting the flu. That's a whole nother topic. But that's the concept, is that we have to understand how harmful the antibiotics are for the animals and for your body. So again, 80% of the world's antibiotics are administered to factory farmed animals. 80%. And think about how many antibiotics are just passed off from doctor to patient every day. 80% is huge. So this is going into the animal because they're getting sick because of the conditions of the farms. They need this because they're sick and they're trying to keep them alive. Well, they become so sick that they're in pain, and some of the animals will actually kick themselves in the stomach because it hurts and they can't get it to go away. And so it's like, say you have when I used to have fibromyalgia, sometimes it would hurt so bad I would just go like this because it didn't know what to do. Like, it needed a massage, it needed something. That's what the animal does. And so they're in so much pain that they can't function. Then painkillers and narcotics are administered to these animals. So you now have antibiotics and painkillers in these animals. What if you're one of those people who don't like to take medicine, but you eat out? You go to restaurants and you get steaks and burgers. Well, that's going into your body anyway. Next, they give them steroids, basically same reason. They're getting sick, they need these things, they try and fatten them up. They're eating all the wrong things. They're being injected with all these insane chemicals, and they're living in terrible, terrible conditions. What about grass-fed organic animals? What about pasture-raised chickens and eggs and all those things? Well, listen, living beings also have their own natural hormones. So just because they're not being injected with it doesn't mean that they don't have their own hormones, right? They have to have hormones. Those hormones go into your body no matter what. That's what happens. That's the truth. It's like, when I found this stuff out, it took me nothing but 2 seconds to be like, well, I don't want to put that in my body. Ew, I can live without that. Totally. That's messed up. Like, to know these things, I don't know how you can continue to like keep putting it in your body. But I think what it takes is like, for everyone, people used to say, I remember someone saying something to me about being gross that I ate Taco Bell. And I was like, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't care. I liked the taste of it. Taste mattered to me over anything else. And I didn't know until I was ready to know, until I was able to open my heart to it. But it took finding out some of these truths, right? It took understanding what was happening behind closed doors. It's not about protein. It's not about fat. It's not about B12. None of that. That doesn't play a role for animal products, period. Which leads me into the next thing, right? So what they eat is what you eat, okay? What animals eat is what you eat. And so I don't want to get there yet. Hold on. That's something to think of, right? So if they're eating soy and they're eating corn, can you have corn? The majority of corn is genetically modified these days anyway. It's so crossbred and just most people can't tolerate it anymore because of the state that it's in. So what they eat is what you eat. You just ate a bunch of Skittles if that cow ate Skittles, right? If they're eating feces, a lot of animals will eat feces searching for nutrients that they're not being given. The last thing, fear. This is, I guess, dependent upon maybe your spiritual beliefs, your emotional beliefs, but think about humans. We live in love or fear. If we break down any traumatic moment, any happy moment, any stressful moment, if we break down war in the world, if we break down giving birth, if we break down, honestly, anything, it's either the end result is love or fear. What is the driving force behind something? Love or fear? What ruins and breaks apart things? Fear. What aids and brings things back together? Love. No matter what, it doesn't have to be cheesy or hippie or corny sounding. It's truly love. It's the connection and the compassion behind something. So these animals that, even grass-fed animals, they're not being humanely slaughtered the majority of the time. They're still they are fed a certain way, right? Because it's the marketing behind it, really. But then they still go to the slaughterhouse. They're still being put into those terrible, disgusting, filthy, traumatic experiences. And so the last thing this animal goes through before dying is complete and utter fear, because animals feel. Animals feel. They really do. They cry. They smile. It's not just dogs and cats. It's other animals too. Do you ever see those adorable videos of like dolphins like loving on a human, or a chicken and a dog becoming best friends, or an insane like safari lion running up to a trainer that he hasn't seen in years and giving him a hug? It's because animals feel. Animals have a soul. They are sentient beings. They are living beings. So the last thing that happens to them is the worst possible fear ever. And I am 100% a believer in the fact that that fear, that is energy that goes right into your body. So all of that, I don't know, that's enough for me to not need to eat it anymore. No, thank you. So let's get into what dairy is and what eggs are and what seafood is. We're almost done. So stick with me because this is really good. What is dairy? So dairy makes up, cheese, yogurt, ice cream. I feel like I'm forgetting things. It's in a lot of different ingredients. It's processed into baked goods. It's all sorts of things. And something that I know, people that live with allergies, like sometimes they're like, well, I can't have straight dairy, but if it's baked and processed, then I can have it. While anything that's taken out of its natural state and processed is even more inflammatory and acidic for the body, so you don't want to do that anyway, right? You're just covering up a reason to have something. And so dairy is pus. Ugh. Dairy is mucus. So I woke up with this pimple today. Ugh, stupid pimples. If I were to pop this and save the pus, just like scrape it off and then put it in my mouth and eat it, that's gross, right? Well, that's exactly what dairy is. So when you go and you get custard or an ice cream cone in the summer with your kids, you're just eating a shit ton of mucus from the animal, to be very straightforward. That's gross. That's gross. Ew, ew, ew. What is in that? Who knows? Oh, because these animals aren't taken care of either. And so the majority of their body is very mucusy. Mucus is a sign that mucus is a symptom. Headaches are a symptom. Rashes are a symptom. Those kind of things are symptoms for a deeper problem. And so when you're like, you have that sinus infection, right? And you're coughing up yellow, or when you're breaking out from a lot of, you went out to eat the night before and then you break out. Like I had cystic acne really bad for a couple of years, all over my forehead and the back of and I didn't know why. I did not know why. I did not understand. None of the medicine worked. The doctors had nothing for me. And as soon as I gave up dairy, gone. Hives, gone. Like, that's what this does to you. It clogs everything on the inside and then it comes out through your skin. The skin is the biggest organ, so when stuff comes out on our skin, it's like, hey, something's going on inside. Something major is going on in the gut right now. And so if you were, my best example, I said it earlier in replying to someone's question, was if you pour a glass of milk, look at that, and basically 3/4 of that glass of milk is pus. It doesn't matter if it's organic. That is in the animal, and then that goes in you. So that should be enough to be like, ew, I don't need it. Dairy does not give us calcium. It actually weakens our bones. There are a lot of studies out there. And this is why it's so important to educate yourself. Watch the documentaries. Some are easier to watch than others, but that doesn't give anyone the excuse to not be educated. It's so important to know this, because especially if we're giving this to our kids because we think that we're doing good by them, we think we're giving them nutrients, we're harming the body. This is all we have, one time. We should really do our best to make it strong. Dairy is pus. Ew. Eggs are chickens' periods. Isn't that good? Oh man, that's so tasty. That's it. That's really all I have to say. You're gonna hear things like eggs are the best protein source on the planet. Eggs lower your cholesterol. Eggs actually have the amount of cholesterol of 2 Whoppers from Burger King. I remember that statistic. I thought that was interesting. 1 egg. And so aside from the nutrients, you have hormones in an egg. Would you want to take someone else's hormones and eat them? No. I mean, that's literally what's happening. That's what's happening. So that's it. Eggs are chickens' periods. Yep. Life comes from them. Seafood. Okay. Seafood is a big one because a lot of people feel that fish is really healthy, right? Compared to red meat and whatnot. But even getting fish from like a tropical island somewhere, the majority of seafood is contaminated with mercury, heavy metals, because of all the pollution and contamination in the water. Especially remember 10 years ago when BP, their oil rig exploded. Whoa. The amount of seafood that went into alone right there. But there's just so much pollution. There's pollution from the air that goes into the water, that goes into your seafood. Mercury is like literally the worst heavy metal to be inside your body if you have an autoimmune disease. It's something that will trigger and pull out a pathogen or a virus that's been dormant in your body for years, because that stuff happens. And we'll talk about that next week. But that's seafood. It's not about the protein and all of that and the omegas and blah, blah, blah. Like, you have to focus on what is in the animal. So let's talk about nutrients. We're getting close to the end. Nutrients, right? We have been marketed to in a way where We need to have a burger for protein. We have to have salmon for omegas. We have to take cod liver oil. Like, this is the thing. What the animal consumes is what you consume. You're getting your nutrients through what they eat. So shrimp and tilapia are bottom feeders. So they're going to eat like all the feces in the bottom of the ocean floor and all of that. That's what you eat. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, I don't eat the tilapia and the shrimp. I only eat the salmon or the wild Alaskan fish or whatever. Omegas, B12, protein, iron, calcium, that all comes from soil and plants. That's not coming directly from the body of an animal, right? You're getting that from the plants because these animals eat plants. Did you know gorillas and elephants are plant-based? Some of oxes are plant-based. Some of the world's strongest animals eat nothing but plants, okay? Because that's where the nutrients come from. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the soil has been tampered with to the point where the B12 sources in there are non-existent. Even people who eat meat aren't getting the right amount or the right source of B12. And so, especially with like factory farmed animals, you're not getting any B12 from those animals. If anything, they're being injected with stuff just to give it to you. If anything, you're going to get more B12 from organic grass-fed animals because they're eating grass from the soil, but that is dependent upon the nutrients in the soil. So a lot of times when you're watching documentaries or you're reading about the plant-based lifestyle, they'll say it's okay to take certain supplements. So I'm going to tell you right now, I think I'm a really good example of nutrients because August will be 6 years of being plant-based, right? I went from living in the doctor's offices, the hospitals, having multiple surgeries, going through a ton of different things to legit cutting off that world, cutting off the Western medicine world, and did not have my blood taken until June of 2019. I went almost 6 years not having my blood taken. And I decided to trust. I'm not telling you to do that. This was my path and this was my journey. But what I want to say to you is that I trusted myself enough to be intuitive, to tune into the signals and signs that my body was communicating with me, to the point where when I got my blood work back in June, perfect across the board. I had 0 deficiencies, over, under. I was actually taking this digestive supplement at the time that's really good and I really like it, but I overdid it, so it had my kidney number off by like point something, so I just stopped taking it. But I was completely fine. And I can't wait to talk about supplements with you guys because that's the perfect example. When supplements are needed, they're great as long as the quality is there, but it's not something we have to live on. But I'll tell you, the whole first year that I was transitioning, it took me 9 months to transition totally. And then when I was off of animal products, I was feeling really good. A lot of these symptoms and diagnoses were gone, but I lost so much hair. And it was so frustrating because I'm like, I'm supposed to be eating healthier. What's happening? And when I dove deeper, I learned that our hair cleanses too, just like our body. So you can actually lose all that toxic hair. If I go back and find photos from when I was like 19 or 20, which were some of my sickest days, my hair was like scraggly thin. And I come from an Armenian background, so we're supposed to have thick hair. And all of a sudden my hair was like this plant, like just not doing well. I mean, the plant's doing okay, but it was thin and stringy like this. And I learned I was just, so when I was frustrated, feeling like, why am I losing my hair? Why isn't it getting thicker? Well, I had to learn how I was taking care of my hair, what products were going into it, and that it was actually a beautiful, beautiful sign that my body was saying, hey, I'm getting rid of this for you. And so Did I go through adjustment periods? Was my B12 off at times? Was my iron off at times? Probably. But what I kept doing was I kept evolving. And I told myself, I promised myself from day one, I remember being in the kitchen. I had gotten started on Beachbody workouts about a month after my endometriosis surgery in 2013. This was when I was really kicking things off. And my husband and I got to the point where we stopped going out to eat. I wasn't smoking anymore. We weren't drinking soda, and we weren't going to fast food, and we stopped going out to eat. Huge positive changes, huge. So I was learning to make everything at home. At the time, I was cooking a lot of turkey meat because I thought turkey was so much better than chicken. It's just because that's what people said, right? But this was part of that transition period where I thought I was doing really well. And during that time I said, and I was doing well because I gave up a lot of bad habits, but this was part of it. And I said, I'm going to learn something new every day. Whether it's reading a page in a book, whether it's watching a whole documentary, whether it's trying a new recipe, I'm going to learn one new thing a day. And I stuck to that for years. I'm still learning. I have a new book in the mail I can't wait to get today about the connection of your physical body with your mind. You evolve, and that's the point. And so you have to stick through the transition periods and know that things like protein deficiency don't happen to the average person. They happen to, families and children in third world countries that literally can't get any food inside of their body. Protein deficiency actually has a very scientific name for it, and I can't remember it, but you can look it up. And if you see those infomercials where those poor children are starving to death, but their stomachs are out to here, that's a protein deficiency. That's being very, very sick, very ill. The majority of Americans are getting 3 to 5 times too much protein than what our bodies are actually supposed to get because we're marketed to. Fruit has protein. Greens have protein. Grains have protein. You don't have to eat a ton of beans to be vegan. That's also a misconception. I was raw vegan, healthiest I've ever been. It's about adjusting. It's about learning, and it's about evolving. A really, really good resource for macronutrients, which we'll get into later, but there's a book called 80-10-10 that's an awesome book about raw foods and how we actually get what we need from raw foods. Lemons have protein. Everything has protein. Stop worrying about it, especially protein. So page 18, I believe, is a chart with where you can get all your nutrients from, and it's a really great chart to start grocery shopping from. Take that chart, take the list I gave you guys yesterday, and go grocery shopping. It's going to be awesome. Tomorrow, I am going to share my kitchen with you. I'm going to share the pantry and the fridge and the freezer, and it's probably not going to be perfect and clean, but I'm going to share with you how we eat and how we grocery shop, and it's going to be so awesome. So please let me know what questions you have after today. I am so happy to answer anything that I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll look into it for you. Please discuss on this. Please discuss. It doesn't have to be a debate or so controversial. This can just be a discussion of how we were raised, the things we were taught, the things we're taught now, how doctors literally are transitioning to being plant-based physicians because they're seeing what's happening in the world. That's it. I'm going to let you go. Thanks for staying tuned, and I'm really enjoying sharing everything with you guys. Hope you have a beautiful day. Happy January 2nd. Talk to you later. Bye.